Okay, so I'm here with John Mason, who is the principal of Australian Correspondence Schools. ACS is a partner of Warnborough Colleges, and thank you very much, John, for agreeing to speak with us today.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a bit about ACS and why you started it?
I went into one college one day and they had 10,000 applicants for courses for the next year, and they had 500 places. And I had actually done a distance education course a few years earlier in parks management, so I knew what that was about, and I looked at this quantity of people and I thought, well, how can we provide something for them? Talked to the principal and we decided the way to go was to develop a distance education course in horticulture. So I started to map something out and he started to lobby government, and 3 months later nothing had happened. 9 months later he couldn't get any support from government, and another friend who was a marketing expert said, oh, bugger them, and you write the course, I'll market the course, and we'll take it from there. I wrote a course in horticulture for delivery by distance education. At that point in time, we didn't have computers, so I bought an old second-hand printing machine, and I went home and I typed up the course and I printed it off, and my friend put an ad in a gardening magazine, and we ended up with 70 students off that first ad. It cost us about $60 for the ad, and I think we were charging $69 for the course. So it worked out well, and we've just grown from there. People asked for more courses, so we developed more courses, and people asked for other disciplines, so I employed experts in other disciplines and we developed other courses in other disciplines. Now in 2016 we have over 600 100-hour courses. We've developed a whole new style of course, which are 20-hour shorter courses, fully automated, all driven by modern computer technology, right from when the student enrolls and their enrolment's automatically approved, through assessments which are automatically handled by computer technology, through to a final exam which the student does. Their results are assessed immediately, and if they pass, they're given their certificate of completion immediately. We can't get the books that we used to get. Finally, about 3 or 4 years ago, we decided the only way we can provide supplementary reading reliably to our students is to write the books ourselves. So 3 or 4 years ago, we started writing and publishing e-books, electronic books. We've done 100 textbooks now, and these are all relevant to the courses. When we write something, we look at the courses in that subject area. We look at the sorts of things that would help the student as far as extra reference material. Then we map out the structure of the book to satisfy and complement the course, and then we write the book accordingly.
Well, it's nice to hear that ACS has been so visionary in its approach to education, but what do you think are the biggest challenges today?
One word: change. We are in a world which is changing rapidly. Attitudes are changing, technology is changing, our level of knowledge and understanding in every discipline is different tomorrow to what it is today. The world is changing, economics are changing, politics are changing, and all of these things have an impact on education, on what you can study, what you should study, and preparing for the future. Because after all, what education is all about is moving your mind from one place where it is now into a place where you're going to be better prepared to move forward in the future. Whether you're studying to make yourself a more capable and competent person for your career, or just a more capable and competent person for living, for a better lifestyle, for better well-being, better health. And really, education should be about all of those things. It should be taking a holistic approach to improving you as a person. Interestingly, I look at what I studied many, many years ago, and the people who went through college with me, and how many of them are still out there involved in industry. A lot of them, they never joined professional associations, they never went to conferences, they never joined amateur clubs, they never subscribed to magazines, they just did the course, went and got a job back in the 70s, and stuck in the same job and worked 9 to 5, and they wouldn't do anything outside of their 9 to 5, and they didn't progress. Now, that's the way it was then, but that is an exaggerated situation today. If you don't get involved and connect and stay connected, what you learn today is irrelevant in 5 years' time. But if you learn something today and you connect, then as your industry changes, your perception, your knowledge, your capability within your industry continues to grow as well.
Excellent observation. One of the big things that people often ask whenever they call up or email in about a course is it accredited? Is it recognized? And I think many people assume that having accreditation means that the course or the school will be good. What are your thoughts on this?
I used to hear people saying, if you want a secure future, go to university, get your degree, and then you're going to be set for life. I've seen statistics come out of universities in recent times, and that is total rubbish today. It just isn't the fact. I saw a survey come out of Melbourne University about a year ago, and it was looking at science graduates, and this survey said that less than 10% of science graduates had actually worked in anything to do with science within the first 5 years of graduating from their degree. So clearly, doing a science degree is not guaranteeing any sort of job security in science for 90% of the people who do it and succeed and get the degree and have the piece of paper, and it just isn't the way of the world. It might have been in the 50s, 60s and 70s. In 2016, it is not. Now, why though are we hearing people still saying that? Well, our grandfathers told us that as we grew up, because they grew up in a world where that's what you said and that's what you thought. And our fathers told us that because their fathers told them, and all the newspapers and that get up and they flog the same idea. And of course you've got the universities and the colleges now all in a catch-22 because they've been putting out the same message for 100 years. For actually, some of them started back in the 1300s, so many, many hundreds of years they've been putting out the same message. We've got this totally different, rapidly moving world where that message is irrelevant. But what does it make an Ivy League education institution look like if it says this is the absolute truth for 700 years, and then all of a sudden it turns around and says, that's rubbish? Does that encourage you to go and study with them? They're in a catch-22. I know a lot of people in those universities, a lot of professors and deans, and I've met a couple of vice-chancellors, and they're all aware of the way things are. But if they move what they're saying as fast as what the world is moving, they're going to look as though they're contradicting what they were saying last year. And that will undermine their ability to be able to get students. And if they don't get students, they don't have cash flow into their university. And if they don't have cash flow, they're not going to continue to survive. They're going to have to sack their staff and the whole thing will fall apart. So they're really in a very difficult situation. It isn't that they're not aware very often. It's just they're in that catch-22. We realised a number of years ago, that this was a problem, that things were changing so fast that mainstream education and mainstream education accreditation bodies and government institutions just were not properly matched with the way the world was going. And it was really a dilemma. Do we stay in the mainstream and compromise the quality of what we're able to do in education? Or do we break with the mainstream, give a perception to some that we're not very credible, but in doing so, we free ourselves up from all of these restrictions and we enable ourselves to actually develop better quality of education. And we bit the bullet back in about 2005 and we decided to break. We were a recognised institution. We broke from the officialdom. We gave up a lot of our accreditations and we just concentrated on developing the best education we can. And instead of selling qualifications to people, we're selling learning to people. Instead of being focused on getting people through exams, we're focused on changing their mindset and their capacity to be able to perform and adapt and move into the future and be successful and contribute to this rapidly expanding, exciting time in human history. And that's what we do. And it's fun. It's fun. It's rewarding. It's challenging. And it's absolutely a pleasure when we get colleges like Warnborough partnering with us. And all over the world now we have 17, 18 colleges who are partnered with us and they're using our courses and they're adopting the same fresh approach and realistic approach to helping people forge forward and make a place for themselves in tomorrow's world.
Fantastic. I don't think we could have said that better ourselves. Your salient thoughts are very much in line with Warnborough's own philosophy, and we thank you very much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to speak with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.